So welcome to this new channel and our first bat rep. We're playing 1850 points, Space Marines versus Adepta Sororitas. So here we are on one of the moons of Rin. We have an ecclesiarchy outpost on the outside of the ruins of a forgotten city. This is one of the recruiting worlds for the Crimson Fist chapters, and they're here in force as well. So we have 6 objectives. We have one here, one here, one hidden behind this building here, a 4th one over there, a 5th one by the old outpost, and a 6th one in the backfield here. We're playing Hammer and Anvil, and it's contact lost. So here we have the Sisters of Battle, or Adepta Sororitas, 1850 Combined Arms Detachment, led by Celestine, the Living Saint. Sadly, we do have a marker for when she dies. She's accompanied by 10 Seraphim as a fast attack choice, with 2 hand flamers on 2 of the sisters, plus a superior with a power sword. In the troops choice, we have a 6-girl squad in an immolator with Dozer Blade and multi-melter and additional Stormbolter, mirrored again in a 2nd troop choice, and a 3rd troop choice being a 5-person squad with the same loadout of a heavy flamer and a multi-gun. We have a heavy support choice of a single exorcist, a 2nd exorcist, and an Avenger strike fighter. And then finally, to make up the rest of the sisters, we have 2 Dominion squads, one rocking in a Rhino, one in a Repressor. Both of them have similar loadouts, with superiors with plasma pistols and 4 melter guns in each. And finally, they have brought a fortification in the form of an Aegis defense line along with a quad gun. Okay, and here we have 1850 Crimson Fist Space Marines. Leading the fight today, we have a Terminator Chaplain, along with a 5-man squad of Terminators with an assault cannon. We have another heavy support choice in the form of Centurion Devastators, 2 with grav cannons and hurricane bolters, and the sergeant with las cannons and missile launchers. We then have 5 troop choices. The first 3 are identical. We have standard sergeants and a plasma gun in the squad, and a las cannon on the Razorback. The same for this one, the same for this one. We then get to the first of the veteran sergeant led squads, bare bones weapons other than a power sword on the sergeant, although all sergeants within this squad do have power swords. Again, las cannon, Razorback. And then the 5th squad, same as the one previously, except the Razorback has an assault cannon. And then giving them some support, which isn't going to bode well for the Avenger Strike Fighter, is a Stormwing formation. All in all, a nasty little combination. Okay, here we have deployment is completed. The Sisters of Battle have deployed on this side of the table, putting down their Aegis defense line and quad gun here as a fire base. We have 1 immolator here with no troops inside. They've deployed here to hold this objective, which is a +1 cover save, because we are using mysterious objectives. We have an exorcist here to hold this one, which is rerolls hits level 1. 2nd exorcist here. The troop squad on its own is deployed there to fire the quad gun. Celestine and the Seraphim are here ready to make a push forward. Then we have another troop choice here holding objective 2 with the squad on board. And then we've taken a bold move, and the Repressor has scouted forward with a squad on board. And then just going across to the reserves, we have an outflanking Dominion squad, and we have the Avenger Strike Fighter. So moving back to Crimson Fists, they've counter deployed. We have a whole line of las cannons, which isn't particularly nice. They are holding this objective here, which is unfortunately sabotaged, and they are holding this objective here, which is reroll to hits of a 1. The only thing that we had to then do was to see if they could steal the initiative, and Nathan, who is my opponent today, as per usual, rolled the 6 and has turn 1. So Crimson Fists turn 1, they've pulled one objective card, which is Hold the Line, so score 1 victory point if at least 3 scoring units and none of mine are within 12 inches of their board edge, and then every turn thereafter they will get to pull an additional card up to a maximum of 6 for each objective that they hold. Just flicking across to the battlefield, it shouldn't be too difficult for the Crimson Fists to be able to achieve this, but it will mean a little bit of backing off of these units. Let's see what happens. So, end of Crimson Fist movement phase. We've seen a push forward with the Razorback here, Centurion Devastators, the Terminators, and the 2 Razorbacks over there. Meanwhile, at the back, the cowardly Crimson Fists have moved back and disgorged 1 unit, and moved back here and disgorged another unit, so that they now have 3 scoring units inside 12 inches of their back edge. We'll now move to the shooting phase, but it is night fighting, so hopefully that will protect the Sisters of Battle somewhat. So, although it's night fighting, we have this big gun line of Crimson Fist Space Marines, and first thing that they've done is recognising the threat of the quad gun that was positioned here. They've targeted it and gunned it down. Now that doesn't give first blood because it's part of a fortification. So then the combined fire of this las cannon, this las cannon, this las cannon, and then followed up by the Centurion Devastators here, and the charging forward Dominion squad's repressor has been destroyed. Dominions have jumped out with the view of trying to use some of their ignores cover shooting on the Centurions. However, they are pinned, so first blood goes to Crimson Fists. So just closing the first half of turn 1 for the Crimson Fists, they have 2 points scored, 1 for first blood and 1 for Hold the Line. A good start. So beginning of turn 1 for the Sisters of Battle, 1 card pulled and it's Recon. So just flicking back to the battlefield, we only actually have 1 objective that hasn't yet been discovered, so that's something that's very doable. So over to Sisters of Battle movement turn 1. Sisters of Battle movement phase turn 1. We can see the Seraphim and Celestine charging forward. No movement from the pinned sisters there. Movement forward with the Immolator to get into a little bit better firing position. No movement from this one, or the squad hidden behind that building. And this squad have just jiggled around a little bit. So let's see what they can do with shooting turn 1. So end of Sisters of Battle shooting phase. We fired up through. We've managed to take one of the Centurions and pop a wound on another one. We fired this Razorback here and pinged off of its armour, and we managed to kill 1 Terminator. Not the most impressive turns of shooting, and very quickly we did try a 12-inch charge for the assault phase into the Centurions, but failed. So that's the end of turn 1. So end of Sisters of Battle turn 1. Recon has been scored and nothing else. So Space Marines turn 2, with 2 objective cards pulled. We have Overwhelming Firepower, which is to kill enemy units, and Ascendancy, which is score D3 victory points if you control any 3 objective markers. This one could be pretty tough. So turn 2 Space Marines. So they pushed forward, deployed here. Reserves have come in the form of the Storm Wing in a very aggressive set of positioning. The units back here have jumped back into their vehicles, as have these. Terminators have held position, and these 2 units have moved forward and 1 have deployed ready to put some hurt down on the Sisters of Battle. Okay, so the end of the Space Marine shooting phase, and it's been horrific. So a huge amount of firepower came in. Number of las cannons bounced off of the Exorcist that was here, but the Storm Raven made short work of it with a single las cannon shot. The squad of sisters that were here took a couple of casualties and are breaking and running back towards the back of the end of the table. And then over here, an awful lot shot at Celestine and the Seraphim, killing all bar 1 of them. So they're still holding because she is fearless. And then finally there was a few shots in on the Immolator and the squad here, and there were 1 or 2 casualties but nothing else. That'll be the end of the Space Marines turn 2, as they have no assaults to declare. Just closing off the Space Marines turn, they did score overwhelming firepower for killing the Exorcist, but they didn't score Ascendancy, so that puts them on 3 points. So Sisters of Battle objectives, we've pulled 4 because we're holding 4 at the moment. We've got Assassinate, kill a character or 2 or 3, we can do that. Hungry for Glory, so issue a challenge, we can do that. Secure Objective 2, we're already holding that, so we can do that. And Secure Objective 1, no, I don't think we'll go for that because that's where the Chaplain and the Terminators are standing. So, end of movement phase for Sisters of Battle turn 2. We have some reserves coming in the form of the Avenger Strike Fighter, but the Dominion squad that's outflanking is still off the board. We have a squad of Sisters of Battle that have jumped out here. Celestine has jumped across looking to assault this squad. The Dominion squad that were pinned last turn have moved forward, got their eyes on the Centurion Devastators. No movement from the Immolator and the Exorcist here, and the only other minor notable thing is that the small squad of 3 did rally and have moved back. We still hold this objective as well, but that is the end of the movement phase. Let's go into the shooting phase. So, Sisters of Battle shooting phase. They say the Emperor protects, and he certainly does. Sisters of Battle, but not so much the Crimson Fists. Exorcist launcher here, snapshot up. Storm Raven gunship decided, nah, there's no way he's going to hit me, and we got an explodes and blew him out of the sky. Over here, the Avenger retaliated and destroyed one of the Storm Talons. There's still one which will likely bring it down, but that's dealt with. We've got a hull point glancing hit on the Razorback, and we melter-gunned the Razorback that was here holding those guys. So we've got 1 assault to declare and another assault here after the Dominion squad managed to ignore cover but missed with all of their melter guns, but they did manage to pick 1 Centurion off. So that's the end of the shooting phase, and we'll move into the assault phase. So, end of the assault phase for Sisters of Battle turn 2. Celestine made short work of the couple of guys here and issued a challenge, which was important, and the Dominion squad crashed into the Centurion and attacked with crack grenades. The Centurion unfortunately failed to do anything back. They've now positioned there, but it's not looking good, with the Terminator squad and the Chaplain just 12 inches away. So the end of Sisters of Battle turn 2. We've scored Objective 2, Hungry for Glory, and Assassinate. We couldn't do Objective 1, but that brings us up to 4 points, to the Crimson Fists 3 points. Beginning of Space Marines, Crimson Fists turn 3. They've pulled Secure Objective 4 and Supremacy. Supremacy is going to be difficult for them to get, but Ascendancy, they have a good chance, which potentially another 2 points this turn. So, it's the end of the Crimson Fist movement phase, and we've seen some more aggressive action. This Razorback's moved forward, and the squad's jumped out. They've got an eye on Celestine and the 1 remaining Seraphim. Back here, we've got the Razorback has moved position. It's looking to take a pot shot wherever it's needed to. Here, the Terminators have charged forward with an eye on the Dominion squad, whilst the Chaplain has stayed back and separated from them so that he can hold Objective 1. They're looking for Supremacy. Here, we've got a Razorback that's moved at cruising speed and is aiming to take Objective 5. And this Razorback is just moving around but still has line of sight for a number of things. And finally, the Storm Talon has moved past, but has got its undermounted turret looking to take on the Avenger. So, end of Space Marines turn 3 shooting phase. The Storm Talon here managed to put 1 hull point on the jinking Avenger. This squad of Marines on the edge of the table here shot at the 3-person squad of Sisters, killed 1, and they're falling back again. Hopefully they can still regroup next turn. The Razorback here moved in the shooting phase to take Objective 5. The Terminators shot at the Dominion squad, killed a few, and they failed morale, and they are running back here. And then finally down here, a bit of shooting came in on Celestine, killed the Seraphim, but she's okay for now. Okay, so end of Space Marines turn 3, and what a turn. They scored Ascendancy by holding 3 objective markers, and then with the roll of a 6 got 3 for that. They also got Secure Objective 4, so they came up to 7 points, and they discard Supremacy at the end of the turn. So that's 7 against 4 for Sisters of Battle at the moment, as we go into the bottom half of turn 3. So, beginning of Sisters of Battle turn 3, currently on 4 victory points. We've just pulled Ascendancy, Kingslayer and Overwhelming Firepower. So there is a chance to try and pull back and equalise or even get ahead of the Space Marines. So let's go straight into movement phase. Okay, Sisters of Battle turn 3. This squad here have moved up so they can get a bead on the Space Marines here. Once again, the small squad here have rallied. The Dominions here rallied. Immolator has moved forward to get a closer range shot on the Razorback. The Exorcist has swiveled around with the Razorback here in its sights. The Avenger has turned and moved across here and will be snap shooting at the Warlord down here. And the outflanking Dominions with another 4 Melters have come on over here looking at this Razorback. The only other couple of moves were a small squad of Battle Sisters here coming out to get into Melter range for the Razorback, and Celestine has her eyes on that squad. So let's go straight to shooting. So, end of Sisters of Battle shooting phase, not very impressive. Did a lot of shooting, a lot missing, and a lot of failed penetrations. We managed to get 1 whole point on the Razorback here. We managed to kill 1 Space Marine here. We did manage to explode the Razorback here with the 4 melter guns from the Dominion squad, which then, when it blew up, it killed 3 of the contents and 1 of the melter guns from the Sisters of Battle squad. But other than that, no damage. Assaults to declare, just this one. Right, so end of assault phase for Sisters of Battle turn 3, and Celestine minced the 4-man squad of Space Marines that were there. So that's the end of turn 3. So end of Sisters of Battle turn 3, we managed to get points and bring us up to 7, so we're now the same as the Crimson Fists. We scored Ascendancy with 2 and Overwhelming Firepower, which leaves Secure Objective 1 and Kingslayer, and I'm not going to discard, I'm going to keep them. So beginning of Space Marines turn 4, and they've pulled Secure Objective 4 and Secure Objective 5, both of which are achievable with a little bit of work. Space Marines turn 4 movement. The Storm Talon here attempted to go into hover mode and has immobilised itself here, so taken a hull point. Fortunately, it does have an undermounted turret that's the 360-degree turn. Over here we've got the Space Marines who are looking to come down here and muller the Sisters at the back and potentially score line breaker later in the game. Here we have Objective 5 with an objective secured Immolator holding it or contesting it with the objective secured Razorback, and they have deployed troops. They've got plasma, they've got crack grenades, and they've also got another Razorback with assault cannons here. So if they can shoot that one off of Objective 5, the fast attack Dominion squad here won't be contesting it, so they'll be able to score that. And then moving around here, Terminators have come down and around, got a bead on the Dominion squad underneath the Avenger. The brave Chaplain appears to be running away. I'm told he's actually trying to get a bead down on the Dominion squad, but it looks like he's running away to me. And the Razorback has reversed back at cruising speed to take and hold Objective 4, because these two here, they fancy themselves in close combat. Let's see what happens in shooting phase, Space Marines turn 4. So, end of turn 4 shooting phase for the Crimson Fists. Put quite a lot of shooting in here, and they did successfully destroy the Immolator, so they're now holding Objective 5. Over here, this single squad shot down 1 Sister of Battle down there. The Storm Talon snapshot up at the Avenger and failed to hit it. A few shots came in around here at this squad, took out 1 of the melter guns, which will help when it comes to Overwatch when this small squad of 2 charge them. But the big one for this turn was this Razorback here. Moved 12 inches to secure Objective 4, raised its las cannons and did a crafty snapshot, and the Avenger has been blown out of the sky. Good shooting, Crimson Fists. So end of Crimson Fist assault phase. This didn't go quite so well. The Terminators failed the charge, but a lucky melter gun shot picked one of them off. And then over here, the Dominion squads have got their eye in still, and they shot the 2 Marines out before they even reached them. So that's the end of Space Marines turn 4. Right, so just finishing the Crimson Fist Space Marines turn 4. They have successfully got Secure Objective 4 and Secure Objective 5, bringing their total points up to 9. So, beginning of Sisters of Battle turn 4, they do have a chance. Secure Objective 4, with a bit of work, may be able to be done. They still hold Kingslayer and Secure Objective 1, which isn't available right now. But Secure Objective 6, they do hold, and behind enemy lines, they can do that as well. So let's see what they can do in turn 4. So, end of the Sisters of Battle movement phase. The Dominion squad here have shuffled into the trees. Their Rhino has driven straight over the crater, looking to take Objective 4 if the Razorback can be destroyed, because it is objective secured. Currently ignoring the Chaplain there for a minute or two. This Dominion squad have moved forward with a view to trying to hurt the Terminators, whilst Celestine is on her way over in support, along with the remaining squad here. This Immolator has turned around with a view to giving front armour to the Storm Talon if it can't take it down. Going to have to ignore these two for a minute. Exorcist has a good line of view through here still, and we've got the Battle Sister squad here and the Lone Sister here with a view to hurting this squad of Space Marines. Let's see what happens in Sisters of Battle turn 4 shooting phase. So end of Sisters of Battle turn 4 shooting phase. Started well with the Immolator destroying the Storm Talon that was immobilised there, and then it didn't go quite so well. We managed to kill 1 Terminator here, but 2 still remain standing. There is an option to assault, but I don't think we will. Here we managed to put 1 hull point on the Razorback, so this squad here will need to assault it to be able to kill it to score Objective 4. And over here the Exorcist managed to do 1 glancing hit on the Razorback, and we killed a couple of the Space Marines there. Other than that, nothing else much happened, so straight over to the assault phase. So a very short-lived assault phase. Celestine attempted to charge the Razorback, needing an 11, got a 10, and these needed a 6 with the move through cover and got a 5. So no assaults successful. That's the end of turn 4 Sisters of Battle. So just wrapping up Sisters of Battle turn 4, we scored 2 objectives in this one, which were Secure Objective 6 and behind enemy lines. That brings us to 9, so we're level pegging as we exit turn 4. So, beginning of turn 5 for the Crimson Fist Space Marines, a bad draw of cards unfortunately. Secure Objective 3 and behind enemy lines, neither of which that they can achieve this turn, so let's see how we get on with as we go into movement phase. Okay, so end of movement phase for the Crimson Fists. That small squad's moving along there. They've got their eyes on this Battle Sister on her own. I think they want to assault her to try and pull themselves down for a line breaker, which is a good move. This Razorback has moved forward to get in range of the Exorcist, which is down here, looking to try and take that out if they can. This squad has moved around. This Razorback looks like it's going to pick on Celestine. And then over here, the Razorback has moved around and the Chaplain's on his way over to play. So let's see what happens in shooting phase. Okay, so end of turn 5 shooting phase for the Crimson Fists. The las cannon here unfortunately didn't hurt the Rhino, although the Crozius Arcanum with the Chaplain probably will. Here the Terminators killed one of the melter guns and clearly plan to beat the what's-its out of them in a minute. Here there was some shooting through at Celestine along with the las cannon, but neither actually managed to achieve anything to it. And the Razorback missed against the Exorcist, or at least failed to hurt it. And then finally we've got the squad of 3 over there who are indeed going to be assaulting the Lone Sister of Battle on the edge of the table. So end of assault phase for the Space Marines. The Chaplain made it into combat, managed to get 1 penetrating hit, but the Shield of Faith saved the Rhino, so no damage done. Terminators charged in, issued a challenge, killed the sergeant and another one. They didn't do anything in return, but they managed to hold their morale, so stay locked. And then round to here, the 3 went in and the sergeant butchered the lone sister of battle and consolidated, so all 3 models are now line breaking. So that's the end of Space Marines Assault Phase Turn 5. So just closing off Turn 5 for the Space Marines, they did indeed score behind enemy lines, but they didn't get Objective 3, so that puts them up to 10, so they have a 1-point lead as we go into Sisters of Battle Turn 5. So, Sisters of Battle objectives for Turn 5. They've been asked to secure Objective 4 twice now, to hold Objective 3, which they already do, and hold the line. So if they have 3 scoring units and none of my opponents within 12 inches of my table edge, that's something I cannot achieve. Still holding on to Kingslayer and secure Objective 1. So let's see what happens as we go into Sisters of Battle Turn 5. Okay, so movement phase, Sisters of Battle Turn 5. This Battle Sister squad have moved out and down with a view to try and kill these line breaking Space Marines there. The Exorcist has stayed unmoving with a view of taking out this one again, or trying again. Celestine has jumped down and this squad have moved out, ready to try and hurt these Space Marines, and the Immolator there has changed position slightly. Over here, the Rhino is making a run for Objective 1, and the Dominion squad have moved out with the view, do they kill the Razorback to score 2 points, or do they try and slay the Warlord, but he has a 4-up invulnerable. And we have Kingslayer, so decisions. Let's see how things go as we move into shooting phase. So end of Sisters of Battle shooting phase. A lot of shots came into the 3-man squad of tactical marines over there. The sergeant has gone to ground to save himself from a melter gun shot, but is the only one surviving. Over here, the Exorcist finally found its way and managed to get 6 shots off and destroyed the assault cannon Razorback. Here only 1 Space Marine killed, but Celestine's looking to do her work again on them in close combat. Razorback was ignored. Over here, the Dominion squad decided to have a go at the Chaplain and managed to bring him down with a double toughness instant death melter gun shot. So that will give Kingslayer and slay the Warlord. And the Rhino scooted around to take and hold Objective 1. So let's move to the assault phase. So end of Sisters of Battle assault phase. Celestine made it in. She got 2 Overwatch shots, hit and wounds from a plasma gun. Fortunately she made her 4-up invuln save. Killed just the 1 Marine, so they stay locked. Whereas the Terminators made short work of the remaining squad, killing 1, and the other one's broken morale and is running back towards their own end. So let's move on to scoring points and see if the game ends or continues. So end of Sisters of Battle Turn 5, scoring Objective 1, 3 and Kingslayer, which brings Slay the Warlord as well, and the dice roll gave it an extra 3 points. So Sisters are now on 15 to the Crimson Fist's 10. So let's see now, does the game go on to Turn 6? And it doesn't. The game ends. So this brings us to the end of our first bat rep. I hope you all liked it. We saw a win for the Sisters of Battle, the Adepta Sororitas, over the Crimson Fists of the Space Marines. Quite an interesting game. It started off well for the Crimson Fists. It looked like they were going to take a strong lead and continue to hold it, but things did change. Come the end, Sisters of Battle are still looking fairly strong with 1 Exorcist, a couple of units of normal Battle Sisters, and Celestine, as well as Dominions over on the backfield, and Rhino and an Immolator. Crimson Fists hanging on with a couple of Razorbacks still, a couple of Terminators, and a couple of normal Space Marines. So I think if the game continued with the points difference already, it would have remained as a win to Sisters of Battle. But it was a lot of fun. Please do like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you and goodbye.